Hello there. We are taking a look at a Tenpai replay here in Diamond Ranked, and immediately after playing this duel, I was like, gotta check this out. So we did end up winning the coin flip, so we do get to go second. And, you know, there is engine, so we can't really complain about this hand. There's obviously a very strong hand trap in it, being shifter. But this is a little bit tricky because, you know, it's not necessarily foolproof. This is very flimsy. This loses to Ash, and so it really does depend on what our opponent has as well. But just to go over card by card, right? Sangan Kaiman, Nib, Dimension Shifter, and then double Ash Blossom. So we're going to go ahead and move into the main phase. I figure let's let the opponent commit a little bit into this. We'll play into the Triple Tactics talent, but, you know, put them on better habit, and let's see if we can really make the opponent neg by committing to something before we drop the shifter. So we end up seeing the Lotus here, and yeah, immediately great time to shifter. No need for them to load up their graveyard here. Let's start having them banish stuff. So they're like, all right, cool. Let's just play the Nightmare Pain, which they do hard draw. So that's a bummer, because this card does make our life a little bit harder. Just to go over it, it says, during your main phase, you can destroy one dark monster in your hand or face up on the field, and if you do, add one Yubel, or one card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except Nightmare Pain. And then you can only do this once per turn, and then while you control a Yubel monster, your opponent's monsters can attack, must attack Yubel monsters. That's annoying. What's even worse is this last effect. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving your Yubel monsters. So once they start setting up Yubels, we are going to take the damage from these battles until we can find a way to clear this thing. So they go ahead and fire off the Lotus, and I think this is just a perfect time to Ash Blossom, because then they really need to have another extender in their hand to push through this. So let's see it. No, they do not have anything. They do have a Dark in hand, which sucks. So they are going to go ahead and banish this Dark Beckoning, or destroy their Dark Beckoning Beast from their hand to add Spirit. Spirit's nasty. It does so much for the deck. It's kind of crazy. Cannot be destroyed by battle and take no battle damage. Or no damage from battles involving this card. Most Yubel cards have that text. And then it says, if this card is destroyed, you can special summon one of your Yubel monsters that is in your hand, banished, or hand, deck, or graveyard. That is banished. Oh, it's literally anywhere. Yeah, okay. And then you can only use each of the following once per turn. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, special summon this from your hand. And then if it's special summoned, you can add to your hand or set one spell or trap that mentions Yubel. Nasty. Absolutely nasty. Okay, so they add that to their hand, hoping I'll attack into it so they can summon. Yeah, we just don't see a ton of engine. So we're forced to use this. If they've got Ash, great. They do not. So we are going to go ahead and choose to add Chandra and summon here. Now what's annoying is we're still not in the damage step. So they summon, and I still haven't gotten off Chandra's effect to special from the deck. This thing is now live, and they're going to try to add or set. So we will fire off our second Ash Blossom here. We really need to keep them off of their resources. And then they hit our Chandra, which sucks. So now that means that we're not getting Chund effect, and we're going to take the damage from this battle. So that is a bit of a bummer. We then go on into our end phase here. We do set the imperm in this correct column, of course. What are they on? Of course they hit more engine. They hit the throne, which is also pretty bad for us, that is. Once activated, they get to take a fiend with 0 attack or defense from their deck, add it to their hand, or destroy it. Nasty. All of the Yubels do stuff. And then once per turn, if a face-up Yubel monster you control leaves the field by card effect, you can add to your hand one Yubel monster that is in your deck, graveyard, or banishment, whose original level is 1 higher or lower than one of those monsters that was destroyed by a card effect, or that left the field by a card effect. Then you can special summon it, ignoring conditions, yada yada yada. So this is a way to keep them going, and it searches their engine. So they will add themselves a Lotus, which we are forced to negate. We cannot let them get any further into their lines here. Now, annoyingly, they do choose to make a Phantom Yubel, which is a negate, so we're going to be very careful around this, right? It has the same clause for Yubels about destruction, the special summon clause, and then the most important thing this card says is when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you contribute this card, the activated effect becomes your opponent destroys one Yubel monster in their hand, deck, or field. So it turns one of my activated effects into a boon for them, where they get to destroy one of their U-Bells and then continue to combo from there. Now, interestingly, they are attacking in. I do not know if Chandra... I did not know if Chandra would have triggered and they could negate it or not, because obviously my Chandra can trigger, but their effect, at least at the time, I was not aware, or I didn't know the damage step ruling, because it says when your opponent activates a monster effect. So I figured, okay, maybe if it's in response to the activation, you know, maybe they could get some advantage going. So if I'm going to force this thing out and, you know, let them get their free advantage from this, let me do it on my turn, not their turn, where they can snowball even further. So they're forced to pass. Now, interestingly, they did not take any damage from that, obviously, but then I don't take damage because your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken. So they were not going to take any battle damage. You take no battle damage. So this thing does not trigger to force me to burn another 15. So the drop of Max C does literally nothing. The one thing we do have to worry about, though, now is if we do decide to combo off in the battle phase, if they hit some sort of Bestial, that's not very great for us. And then additionally, yeah, because they can use their Dimension Shifter to bring out the Bestial. Additionally, if they hit that Spirit of Yubel, that will trigger when I declare an attack. So I need to be very wary of that as well. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and move on into the damage step. Time to test out if we can summon without them getting a chance to respond with their Phantom effect. They cannot. Thank God this thing doesn't trigger in the damage step. Today I learned too, so that's kind of cool. Pydra will get its effect here. They're going to keep drawing. We're going to Kaiman on up here. Now, the only way to out a Phantom of Yubel, there's two ways to do it. Since it can't be destroyed by battle, you take no damage involving your... you take no damage from battles involving this card. You know, we could use a Qui Belt to destroy it, but then they're going to get their Nightmare Throne to trigger. So we need to destroy this thing by battle somehow. Thankfully, Tenpai has the answer. Now we're going to have to give the opponent a few draws here, and we need to risk it. So we're going to make the Samurai Destroyer, and with just 2 cards in hand, we're like, alright, if you have the Spirit of Yubel, great, but if not, this thing's going in. Samurai Destroyer is incredible. Freaking love this card. Says, if this card battles an opponent's monster, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. Also, that opponent's monster's effects are negated during the battle phase only. No effects on this bad boy whatsoever, and it's destroyed by battle, so no effect caused their Yubel to leave the field. That's just incredible. We do take the damage from that, unfortunately, but who cares? At this point, they have an open game state. Now the only thing that's left for us to do is make a Transcendent and then attack in for game. So we're going to go ahead and Kaiman on in here. We need to start playing our cards that lose to Ash. And so we'll bring out the Chandra, bring out Genroku, and then use Genroku's effect. Oh, and we're good. Okay, so we don't have to worry about Ash Blossom anymore. Now we're going to go ahead and Fadra back our Pydra and go ahead and start Synchro Summoning here. So we'll go bring out Joe Biden. Joe Biden will go ahead and bring back the Pydra here. And at this point, we don't have much to worry about. Alright, and then this is the last effect that will seal the game here. Fadra and Sangen Bident will make our Transcendent, and now we won the game. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and Pydra, Transcendent. Biden brings himself back. Pop something of theirs, who cares? 3,026. Synchro Summon for game. Cheese. You know, the Tenpais are getting their nerf later tonight, so I figure let's enjoy it while we can. You know, our days are limited here as Tenpai players, so why not? Figured I'd show off a cool replay against Yubel. R.I.P. Chandra. R.I.P. Sangen Kaiman, I believe. I think that's the other card getting limited, but anyways, until next time.